Sunderland 2, Arsenal 2, and that was painful. That was very, very painful. Really, it feels almost like a loss, if I'm being honest. And it's not the fact that we drew. Even drawing keeps us in a decent position, somewhat. But it's the fact that we drew it right in the injury time. And to be absolutely honest, I thought we were poor at the back. Really poor. Both goals could have been avoided. I don't. I'm genuinely. I genuinely don't know what to say right now. First of all, I will say this though. I will say that Sunderland absolutely deserved something from that game. I'll be absolutely honest about it. Sunderland, especially in that first half, I don't think any team's put us under that much pressure before. But if they're a team where I can say that makes me say, forget about the no goals conceded record, the clean sheet record. That's it. Forget about the clean sheet record. Just worry about getting the 3 points. Already in of itself, that's an achievement. This draw, I don't think progresses anyone in any way, shape, or form. I don't think so, anyways. Maybe it progresses Sunderland, but I haven't bothered checking. And I do think Sunderland absolutely deserve credit. And I'll say it there now, they were an absolutely astounding team. We did end up going 2-1 up, and we could have realistically held on to that. And I can understand why Arteta wanted to go defensively. I do want to criticise, however, that if you're going defensively, don't half-arse it. What's the point of making one substitution? And yes, you brought in Mosquera in for Everett Chiese. Fair dues. Not a problem with that. But at the same time, what's the point in all the other substitutes you have? What's the point with Hincapié? What's the point with Lewis Skelly? What's the point with having Ben White? If you're not going to bring these players on in these kind of moments, for if nothing else, for fresh legs. For fresh legs to defend the game. And if we're not doing that, what's the point in having them? That game was winnable. We could have seen that game out. I would have taken a 2-1 win all day, every day. All I cared about was the 3 points and avoiding injuries. And for the most part, it looks like we've avoided major injuries. We did have some head issues with Urian Timber and Mikel Mourinho. Other than that, it didn't look too serious. So other than that, I think we're all right. At least I hope so. But oh god, it's still painful. I've given myself time to calm down over it, and it's still painful. Regardless, we have to be praying now for that draw tomorrow between Man City and Liverpool. We have to be praying for that. And if we get that draw, we haven't actually gone down any place. Thankfully, we can still hold on to that. We can still move on to the next game after international break, 6 points clear. That's still a good position to have after 11 games. One thing that I do not want, however, is Man City winning. Because if Man City wins, that's probably the worst result for us. We're still 4 points clear, but I want to be 6 points clear. I don't know what else to say, really. It was so painful. But you could see how Sunderland adapted to us by putting that high pressure on us in the first half, getting the goal from us from very poor defending. Coming into the second half, they went a bit more of a defensive route, an outright low block, should I say. And then we got the 2 goals. And then after that, Sunderland were playing for the draw. And to be fair, that's as much a compliment to us as it is to them. Sunderland, this team that seems absolutely unstoppable as things stand, and I do think they look absolutely great. But that team playing for a draw against us shows that we have that ability to play. And if I'm being honest, Sunderland, I'm surprised they're not higher up. But one thing you have to compliment Sunderland on, you have to compliment their character. In the dying minutes of the game, they find an equaliser. Yes, it's a mistake from David Raya. Yes, Gabriel can't get on the right side of it, but still, the athleticism of it, the character to go forward the way they did, even as they're going up against a defensive tactic against the most defensively well-drilled team in all of England. Think about that for a second. That is absolute character. But again, even as I say that though, I didn't think we were half as defensively good as we've been in previous games. That defense, it looked sloppy. It looked error prone. It just didn't look solid. But regardless, we're going to do player ratings now. Starting goal, David Raya. Now, David Raya, he did make that mistake. I will hold him to that. That last goal that we conceded, that was his mistake. And I'm not going to be overly harsh and say, it's cost us the league or anything like that. It probably, maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. I hope it hasn't, but I'm still going to have to hold him account to that. Other than that, however, he made some really good saves. I'm not sure what to really give him for it. I guess I can give him a 7. Urian Timber. Now, Urian Timber, he didn't have a horrible game. I did like how he was getting quite aggressive, especially in the second half. Occasionally he did lose the ball, but didn't really cost us in the end. At least that didn't cost us. I guess I can give him a 7 too. William Saliba, I thought he was quite quiet today. I can't remember much that he really did, if I'm honest. Saliba, I'm going to give a 6. Gabriel didn't get on the right side of him right at that pivotal moment. If he's just on the right side of him, then Sunderland aren't scoring that equaliser. Gabriel also gets a 6. Ricardo Calafiori, I don't remember much of him in that game, if I'm honest. There's not much of him I remember in that game, but all I remember is that he was pushing forward a little bit, but other than that, not much. 6.5. Zubamendi. I thought Zubamendi, he didn't have a bad game at all, really. Quite unlucky not to get any goals. He got in the right positions for them. Sunderland were just too well defensively drilled. Zubamendi, I'm going to give a 7. Declan Rice. If I'm being honest, I thought Declan Rice actually had a decent game. The way he was intercepting the balls, especially in the midfield, I thought Declan Rice was actually doing quite well, especially in that second half. And it's because of him, it's because of his interception, his tackle, that we ended up getting that first goal. Declan Rice, I'm going to give an 8. Bukayo Saka, the only thing that really saves him is that goal. I didn't think Bukayo Saka had a great game. He wasn't horrible, but I thought he could have done so much better. I'm going to give him a 7, and that's just from the goal, really. Eberechi Eze, he needed help quite a lot of the time, really. When he got the ball, he wasn't getting as much assistance as we would have liked him to have. Eberechi Eze didn't have a horrible game, he just needed the support, really. I'm going to give him... I'll give him a 6.5. Trossard, he scored the goal that we thought was the winner. We really thought that was the winning goal. And to be fair, I thought he caused absolute nightmares for the Sunderland defence, especially in the second half. And of course, he got that goal, and what a beauty goal it is. Trossard, he's getting an 8, and he is my man of the match. Well, we've also got Mikel Mourinho. He was silent all game. The most I remember about Mikel Mourinho was him going down with that head injury that scared the shit out of me. Other than that, I can't really think of much he did. Mikel Mourinho's getting a 6. Mikel Arteta, as I was saying, he had those substitutes. He didn't use them. And you can also criticise as well the fact that he went back to his defensive way. Going 2-1 up, I can personally understand it. At least I understand why he did what he did. Obviously, it didn't work out. But sometimes that's just football. It was a beauty goal. Raya shouldn't have been off his line, really. It was a goalkeeper error. But football can be a very cruel sport sometimes. Mikel Arteta, I'm giving him a 5. I thought he could have used his substitutes a lot better. The referee gets an immediate 0. I thought he was absolutely piss poor today. And the fans are getting a 10. I don't care what you say, after that first goal that we scored, when we equalised, I heard nothing but Arsenal fans. The only time I ever heard the Sunderland fans was when they equalised and made it 2-2. Aside from that, however, it was all Arsenal fans. And there was no guarantees we were going to win that game. There was no guarantees we were even going to get a second. And yet it was still just Arsenal fans that I was hearing. Well, regardless, as things stand, we're 7 points clear. It's not horrible. And if Man City and Liverpool draw, and both of them drop points against each other, that's put us in an even better position. So at the very least, we haven't moved down. But anyways, that's it for my match review. Like, share, and comment, and please do subscribe. It really does help out the channel. I just saw on my live that we had hit 100 subscribers. What's the next objective? 150? Why not? 150. Let's try and go for that. Like, share, and comment, and please do subscribe. And I'll be seeing you guys for the match preview for... Let me bring it up. For Arsenal versus Tottenham North London derby. And tell you what, that'll be a game, especially after the international break. Goodbye for now.